Welcome to Work It, Live It, Own It, a show that explores how to upgrade your lifestyle through life lessons, real estate, and entrepreneurship. Here's your hostess, Sacola Lehr. Hello, everyone. This is an exciting episode of Work It, Live It, Own It because this episode is specifically for my entrepreneurs who may want to delve into real estate investing but don't know the basics, don't know how to, or for also my realtor friends out there who have a previous buyer client, and they may want to turn their current home into an investment property. How can we help our clients navigate that? So I brought in an expert in real estate investing, Michael Del Prete. Now, this guy, he is a seasoned expert in real estate investing. He is not just a full-time investor, though. He's an all-around problem solver, and he's renowned for giving top-notch advice and strategies when it comes to real estate investors at every level. So it doesn't matter whether you don't have a clue about real estate investing. That's why Michael's here today. And he believes in giving tangible, lucrative outcomes and strategies for real estate investors. He's also the executive director of the Arizona Real Estate Investors Association. So, Michael, welcome to the Work It, Live It, Own It community. I'm so happy to have you here today.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much. Thanks. Great introduction. I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. Hey, what really stood out to me about you is that a lot of people, when it comes to real estate investing, you may hear it all the time, how real estate is the best way to go if you want to generate passive income or create generational wealth. So I wanted to bring you
Mhm.
on because I think you said something before that it's not about the uncertainty of if someone will be able to retire. It's transferring that to the confidence of knowing they will retire. So I wanted to bring you on so we can all learn how to secure a worry-free retirement.
Awesome. Let's do it.
All right. So first, Michael, can you just give us a little background about what drew you into the world of real estate investing?
Money. So,
Money.
right.
Okay. Yeah, right.
But why did I want that money, right? What was the intention behind it, and the motive behind it was, my son was roughly 2 years old. I was newly married, young family, so you have dreams and aspirations, and I'm sure, like many of your listeners and yourself, you always have that, like sometimes you have that feeling like I want more, I want better, like that little gut feeling. And I feel that was always inside me. So we'd watch HGTV all the time. You like you said, you always hear about real estate. It's how people most millionaires, most billionaires, all this good stuff. But it's just like for the average person like me, didn't go to college, didn't have any support family wise, say you can do it. It's just like wanted to figure it out. So had to figure it out, and I was watching HGTV, and I got curious, and I started researching. So that's kind of it's a long story. I don't know how much to sum it up, but
Well, no, that's okay. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a beginning, and I think that's what connects us all is to that story.
yeah,
And I'm pretty sure someone in our community actually can resonate with that because there are a lot of people
yeah,
who do watch HGTV, get inspired by it, and want to know, well, how do I get into it? How can I be successful at this? So, Michael, can you tell me what is one of your favorite aspects or favorite things to invest in when it comes to real estate? Is there a certain strategy you use or have you tried them all?
so yes, so I started off by wholesaling real estate. So that's where you may hear no money, no credit, no license. So you hear a lot of that. So it's really just buying and selling. So to even at that, you're not even buying and you're not even selling it, but what you're doing is going to the marketplace and you're looking for someone that wants doesn't want their house. Okay, I know that might sound crazy, right? So even going
Mhm.
into my story part of before going backwards a little bit, it was like the a house, the American dream, the most expensive purchase of your life. Like it seems so far, right? You're just like, I'm not that person, right? Then on the flip side of that, when I started wholesaling, it's like, who in their right mind would sell their house at 50 cents on the dollar? It's the
Mm,
American dream. It's the, you know what I mean? So why would they? However, there is a percentage of people out there that the house is more of a headache than the quality of life that they're living, and they'd rather just get rid of the house and take the cash and run. It's not everybody, but they're out there. So as a wholesaler, you find those people, you get the property under contract. So you're buying, they're selling, no agents involved. Now that you control the property with a legal binding contract, you can now assign your interest in that contract for a profit to the real end buyer. So if you were a fix and flipper or a landlord, that's our main audience, our target market as a wholesaler. If the numbers all played out, perfect world scenario, I would basically, if I told the homeowner I'm giving you 100,000, they're content with that, and I know 110,000 is a good deal for you as a fix and flipper to go do the HGTV thing. I would make that 10,000 spread by assigning my interest in the contract to the end buyer. So I never put money up. I never used a license. I never used credit. The cash buyer brings the 110, 100 goes to the owner, 10 comes to me. That's how I started, and I
okay.
did it 700 times.
Phenomenal. Cool. Because that, I think with wholesaling, we hear it all the time. We hear that term wholesaling. And then we think, okay, we've got to have a lot of money involved. So basically, you're acting as an intermediary or a middleman. You found a seller who wants to sell their home. Say, for example, they got to relocate real quick, and
Hmm.
or they just for tax purposes, whatever, they got to get rid of this property. And then you may have cash buyers, I guess, in the wings waiting and saying, hey, here's a property they're looking to sell real quick. You have a legal binding contract, which I assume you need a real estate attorney or to draft up contracts, correct? Because if you're not acting as a realtor in this instance, how do you come up with a contract?
Well, it depends how deep you want to go. So as this is not legal advice, accounting advice, all that stuff,
Right,
right?
right, right.
However,
Mm-hmm.
I downloaded my contract off the internet. so and as you get into the business, yes,
Mm-hmm.
you learn how to have a stronger contract, and you actually add to it, take away from it, or you get another real estate investing friends contract, right? You just grow over time.
Mm-hmm.
Then yes, I highly recommend having someone review that, right? And make in whatever
Right.
state you're in, everyone has a little bit different regulations and laws, so always check that when wholesaling. But really, you don't have a it's not an agent type contract. It's usually 1 to 2 pages max, straight to the point. Because these the people in these situations, they're selling at a discount for the ease and the quickness. Your cash solves that problem. When we say, I'm talking like vacant houses, fire damaged houses. Sometimes I get clients here in Arizona where, unfortunately, a family member, the mother, father pass away. They live in the Midwest and they got 3 kids and they got a full time job. They can't fly, take a week off of work. The house is a hoarder house. You get what I'm saying? So it's like,
Right.
it's just, hey, send me my money, buy it as is, where is,
Mm-hmm.
don't bother me. That's what
Take it
you
off
end up.
my hands.
Yeah, 100%. We all been there at some point with some type of thing in our house, right? Or our
Mm-hmm.
life. So that's the feeling I
Right.
have.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that for us. So, for those who are new to the real estate investing world, what's the essential first step they should take in building a successful investment portfolio?
Education, right? You don't know what you don't know. Anything I've learned over the last 12 years in real estate investing, I didn't learn in high school, right? And my wife has a marketing degree at ASU, and everything we've done entrepreneurial, she didn't even learn in there. So it's like it's education and your network. It's the people around you. So I like Arizona Real Estate Investors Association. So I'm under the umbrella of the national RIA. So there's a national organization that represents that we're under. So we're licensed to represent investors here in Arizona. So you can go to nationalria.org, go find a RIA, and there's one in every city. So start there. It's a trade association for realtors, or excuse me, investors. So that's where to start. Go, or I don't really don't. As long as you just go get the information,
Right.
right? Because what happens is, for those that are like the entrepreneurs listening, it's like you. I get doctors, I get high income earners, engineers that come through here, and they're smart, they're hands on, and they say, "I want to fix and flip a house, or I want to buy rentals." But then they're like, "This is this is work. There's a lot to learn here, and I have a career, right?"
Hmm.
So you have to look. You got to get educated. I don't want to. I can go so many ways. Like if I was new, I would start with a turnkey rental property, right? I wouldn't even
Okay.
dive into looking for a junker, paying cash, quick close, unless you
Hmm.
have a team, right? So there's a lot to think about, and that boils down to creating your investor identity. Who are you? You need to know who you are as an investor, so you know what neighborhoods to look in. You're going to save a lot of time. You Once you know the neighborhoods, you know who do you serve? Who's that person? Whether it's a flip or a rental, who are you serving? Someone that lives in an A class high income area versus a lower class lower income area. They have different finishes, different product, different appliances, different needs in the house. So until you know who you are as an investor, the neighborhoods, houses, condos, mobile homes, apartments, what is it, right? You got to narrow that whole criteria down, educate yourself on that criteria. Then, based on that criteria, you're going to find the right team, right? The contractors that work in that area, they give you the right pricing, the real estate agents, the property managers, they all work in different areas. So now you could build your team, and then now you know what a good deal is because you know the neighborhood like the back of your hand, you know the zip codes, you know what the potential rents are, you know who's going to be the type of person that's be living in there. So you see where I'm going with it? Like
Yes.
that's where education starts. You got to
Ye-
build that. Otherwise, I see new people, what about this house? And it's like, what about this house? Is this a good neighborhood? And they're like, so different. Like you're just gonna get confused and messed up.
So the key takeaway from that is to find a local RIA, real estate investment association, in your state, in your city. Start attending those meetings. A lot of times they're free. You don't have to sign up for them, because I know there's some in my area. They meet once a month.
Hmm.
And it puts me in a room as a realtor with other lenders, with other investors who have these resources, who are able to share their stories. And that kind of
Oh
leads
yeah.
me to the next part about common pitfalls. Because if you don't show up in these areas, you don't hear other people's stories and get those good takeaways. In your experience though, what has been a common mistake or pitfall that beginners often encounter? Because I know you were saying having a niche so far out, you need to get super focused. But other than that, are there any other common mistakes or pitfalls for a beginner, and what can they do to avoid it, if they can at all possible avoid those mistakes?
I'm always gonna go back to education, right?
Mhm.
Um, another thing I see as a pitfall for new people is analysis paralysis, right? Confidence. I think being around the when you have that's where it goes when you have you're getting the education and you're in the community of people doing it, right? It's like don't take one thing, people take advice from their friends and family that don't own houses, right? So you got to take advice from
Mhm.
people with the houses, or that person that's doing what you want to do, because everyone's scared to make the offer. It's a big thing. This is your hard earned money, your credit. You're putting a lot on the line in a new area, so it's very uncomfortable. So having the right people, the right education around you, and which will and build the confidence to get out there and start doing it. Because once you do it, it's like riding a bike. When you're scared of something, you're like, wow, I was scared for 2 weeks to do this. you know, I really, that's how it is.
Right. Okay. Good to know. Now, startup cost. What would you say, for example, you were saying start off with a rental property if you wanted to get your feet wet diving into it. About how much would you say someone would need to have as far as cash flow to invest in a rental property?
Got it. So I'm going to go with the assumption, right? The listener is wanting a rental property, right? Because you're entrepreneurs and you
Mhm.
made some money, and now you want to park your money and maybe save on taxes and depreciation and all that good stuff. So if you're going for a rental property, so it, if you want to go traditional, if you leveraged your credit and you went to the bank and you're like, hey, I want to buy an investment property, they're going to have you come up with, well, depends on the loan. There's so many loans out there. So
Yeah.
anywhere from 3.5% to 25% down,
Mm.
depending on the loan product and what you're buying. They just, like, if you went in what we call house hacking, you bought a fourplex and you lived in one unit, you can, since you're living there at your primary, you can get 3.5% down and buy a three, four, five, $600,000 asset. Now they just rolled them out for commercial and multifamily, so you can get 5% down. Or if it's just like, hey, I have my family, I have my house, I just want to go get buy a property in another neighborhood, you're going to be at that 20 to 25%. Just so many, you got to shop around. That's
Right.
key.
Right. And you got to know what's going to work best for you.
Yep,
Okay.
and so now you're that's like kind of an idea of a down payment. Now, earlier I mentioned, hey, maybe you want to look into turnkey for your very first property, right? Because um, buying a distressed property, banks won't lend on distressed properties that need major renovations. Like there's a hole in the roof, there's no AC, so that's a different conversation with different types of loans. So you going turnkey or something that's livable, then you're going to have to look at during your inspection. Always get an inspection period when you buy off the MLS or whatever you do. If it's your first property, get an inspection period, and during that time, that's your time to check for problems. You get a home inspector. It's gonna cost five,
Hmm.
$600, but it's well worth every penny. They're gonna go in there with a fine tooth comb and say, here, even if it's a little tear on the carpet, they're going to let you know about it. If there's a foundation issue, they're going to let you know about it.
Hmm.
So highly recommend that. Then in that inspection period, that's where you're going to come up with your potential renovations. Like, hey, do we need to paint, carpet, cabinet? What is it you might need to fix? So I can't really give you an exact number on that, but you'll find that
Right.
out during the inspection period, which is plenty of time, it's usually 10 days, and you can go out and get bids. You could have a general contractor come out. Also recommend using licensed contractors when you first start too. Yes, you're going to pay a little bit of premium, but you got someone that is well, I'm not saying you just never know who's who, but they got a license. You'd think they're reputable. They want to protect their license. They're going to make everything right, even if they mess up. So uh, then you're going to get 3 bids from everything you're looking to fix or change. So now you're learning while you're going through this process, you're learning about buying a house, what to look for repairs, how much repairs cost, how long they usually take. And then in that time, you're going to learn a lot and you're going to determine what you want to fix or what you don't, but you're going to create a budget, right? Or you might say, hey, based on what this house needs, I don't have that money. So now
Hmm.
you can back out of that deal during the inspection and move on and try to look for another house. So a lot happens in that moment. But that goes back to the investor criteria. Hey, I want to buy houses in this area that only need paint and carpet. Then that's what you stick to, right? If you've got anything outside of that, move on. Unless it's a
Okay.
smoking deal, it depends.
Right. Right. Thank you so much. To part one of my conversation with Michael Del Prete. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a review. If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to download it and share it with your family members, friends, or tribe and community. And most importantly, I want to hear from you. Let's keep this conversation going, guys. What is one of the one burning questions or insight takeaway moments that you've gained from my conversation with Michael Del Prete today in this episode? Drop it in the comments and let's keep this conversation going, guys. But most importantly, don't forget to work it, live it, own it in your everyday life. All right. Till next time, take care.